I am one,
but I'm only one. I can't do everything,
but I can do something.
That which I can do,
I ought to do.
And not what I ought to do.
By the grace of God.
Crestview began the 2006 campaign against the Wayne County power Northwestern. The Huskies, led by their All-State quarterback Caleb Reed, were fresh off of a trip to the regional finals the previous year and were heavy favorites to the inexperienced Cougars. While all the early attention was on the Husky quarterback, it was the Cougars' own quarterback, Anthony Easterling, who provided the game's first big play. Easterling found sophomore Tyler Hobbiel down the left side for a huge completion. 2 plays later, Hunter Reed scored the first of his record 30 touchdowns, giving the Cougars an early 6-0 lead. Then Deidre Dick, the first female football player in Firelands Conference history, added the extra point. Despite the Huskies' high-powered offense, the Cougar defense continued to play tough, spearheaded by senior Andy Carpenter and juniors Curtis Bond and Justin Mills. Led by Easterling and Reed, the Cougars continued to advance the ball, but 4 turnovers, untimely injuries, and a tough Husky defense allowed the Cougars only 14 points. That is the most any team would score on the Huskies all season. In the end, it was just too much Caleb Reed, and Crestview was dealt a disappointing early season loss. The Cougars looked to change their fortune and even their record at 1-1 as they squared off with their longtime adversary, the Loudonville Redbirds. The Cougars looked to build momentum early as Anthony Easterling hooked up with Tyler Maldinger for an 85-yard pass play all the way down to Loudonville's 1-yard line. However, a holding penalty on the ensuing touchdown run kept the game scoreless heading into the second quarter. Cougars were finally able to punch it into the end zone as Hunter Reed barreled in from 1 yard out and Deidre Dick added the kick, giving the Cougars a short-lived lead. Loudonville did, however, battle back to take a 14-7 advantage as the half drew to a close. Second half was a different story as the Cougars began to dominate on the ground. Running behind the blocks of senior captains Isaac Bratton and Ryan Stewart, Hunter Reed was able to rip off long gain after long gain as the Cougars fought their way back to tie the game at 14. With Loudonville driving for the win late in the game, the Cougar defense answered the call. And with only 2 minutes remaining, in truly heroic fashion, Hunter Reed fielded a Redbird punt and exploded for 86 yards and the go-ahead touchdown, capping off the dramatic come-from-behind victory. The Cougars would prevail 22-14. Facing their first road playoff opponent of the year, Crestview traveled west to do battle with the undefeated and future playoff-bound Lucas. Lucas would take advantage of the turnover-prone Cougars, grabbing a 16-point lead at the midway point of the first half, but the Cougars found it deep within themselves to battle back. The offense was rejuvenated by the running of Hunter Reed and the hard work of the offensive line. Led by his fullback Tom Howman, Reed rushed for 230 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Cougars began to claw their way back into the game.
More rhythm.
The defense held Lucas scoreless in the second half, as sacks from Ethan Bernhardt, Carpenter, and an interception from Tyler Haubiel inspired the Cougars and their fans. At the end of regulation, the game was deadlocked. Sadly, the Cougars faltered on the goal line in overtime, a mistake that Lucas took advantage of, leaving the Cougars to deal with the heartache of their missed opportunity. Crestview would rebound from their painful loss to Lucas with a 51-12 thrashing of Plymouth. It was to be a record-setting night, as senior Hunter Reed would break both the single-game rushing mark and the single-game scoring record for Crestview. The offensive line of Ryan Stewart, Isaac Bratton, Curtis Bond, Sam Thompson, Andy Carpenter, Justin Cheeseman, Cody Hughes, and newcomer Lucas Worthington paved the way for the senior tailback en route to a 390-yard, 6-touchdown performance. Tom Howman would add 85 yards and a touchdown of his own, as the Cougar ground game would total 575 yards, setting a new single-game school record.
And captains of the world.
Anthony Easterling was also able to show off his abilities as a dual threat, as the junior quarterback would throw for one touchdown and run in another. The defense shut down Plymouth's offense, yielding only 19 passing yards and 6 points to the Big Red's spread attack. With the victory over Plymouth behind them, the Cougars now had to look forward to their annual encounter with the highly touted Monroeville Eagles. Going into the game, the Cougars were seen as tremendous underdogs to the state-ranked Eagles. Monroeville, rated as high as third in the state at the time of the game, was expected to come in and walk all over the Cougars, but there was just one problem. Nobody told Crestview. Cougars took control of the game, dominating the clock and racking up 19 first downs to only 6 for the Eagles. Hunter Reed had another big night, rushing for 262 yards and 3 scores on only 25 carries. The defense, led by Andy Carpenter and Ethan Bernhardt, kept the Eagles mostly at bay, but big plays helped Monroeville stay close. Monroeville would even the score at 22 as Eagle running back Ryan Boers broke through the Crestview defense on his way to the end zone with only 3 minutes remaining in the game. Faced with a 4th and 9 situation, Anthony Easterling found Tyler Hobbiel to keep the Cougars' hopes alive. On the next play and with time running out, Anthony Easterling was able to connect with Justin Mills, bringing the ball down to the Monroeville 2-yard line. With only 7 seconds remaining, it was Mills again as he recovered a loose ball in the end zone to complete the Cinderella finish. The final score, Crestview 28, Monroeville 22. Crestview traveled to Norwalk with an opportunity to take command of the Firelands Conference as they took on defending champion St. Paul. The Flyers, a team that would eventually reach the state semifinals, jumped out to an early 14-0 lead, forcing the Cougars to play catch-up. Crestview would reach the end zone as Anthony Easterling would hit Tyler Maldinger, pulling the Cougars within 1 score. Riding the right arm of Easterling, the Cougars continued to move the football. Justin Mills led the Cougars that night with 9 receptions for 122 yards. But it was to no avail as turnovers and a series of missed opportunities proved fatal for Crestview. The Cougars returned home in Week 7 to play host to a dangerous Mapleton team led by their bruising fullback Cameron Brandt. But the Cougar defense had reason to celebrate. Not only was it homecoming, but the team also had their spirits lifted as homecoming king Kevin Wright returned from what was thought to be a season-ending back injury to make his first start of the year at center. Crestview dominated all facets of the game as the Cougars took control early. Defensively, the game was won up front as the line of Stewart, Bratton, Thompson, Hughes, and Bernhardt held the Mounties to a lowly 2 first downs throughout the entire first half of play. Curtis Bond, making his first start at linebacker, led the team with 12 tackles. Justin Mills also got into the scoring act as Anthony Easterling found him behind the Mountie secondary en route to a 90-yard scoring play, one short of the Crestview record. The victory over Mapleton was sweet, but celebration would need to be put on hold in preparation for their confrontation with their arch nemesis, the South Central Trojans. The game was built as a showdown between league powers with everything to lose. South Central's first playoff appearance and Crestview's league title hopes lay in the balance as the two hated rivals clashed on Friday the 13th. The game also showcased two of the most exciting players in North Central Ohio as Zach Osborne and Hunter Reed were set to do battle.
If you tear yourself into if I could, yes I would. If I could, I would let it go.
Osborne gave the Trojans a short-lived lead, but the score was quickly answered by Hunter Reed.
Heart of clay, see you walk away.
Anthony Easterling would then hit Reed on a scoring strike to even the game at 6. And on the subsequent kick, Tyler Hobbiel recovered the loose ball to give the Cougars total control of the game. The offensive line, led by center Kevin Wright, dominated the Trojan line and their all-conference nose tackle Ben Wheeler.
Through myself, set your spirit free. I'd lead your heart away, see you break away into the lights and to the day.
Anthony Easterling picked off his counterpart and former backup, Alex Usselton, on the first of his 2 interceptions to end the first half. Hunter Reed would finish the game with 260 yards and 5 touchdowns, and Tom Howman would add a touchdown of his own as the Cougar offense scored at will. The defense played tough all night, limiting the high-powered Trojan ground game to a modest 6 points. Big plays from Ethan Bernhardt, Cody Hughes, and Curtis Bond, along with interceptions by Tyler Hobbiel and Justin Mills, solidified the total team effort. The 41-6 dismantling of the Trojans allowed the Cougars to keep place in the conference race, while in the process sealing South Central's postseason fate. Crestview was back on the road in Week 9 as they traveled to upset-minded New London. Despite leading the game 12-0 early, the Cougars played sluggish, allowing wide receiver Derek Chaffins and the Wildcats to make up the difference. With the game tied late in the fourth quarter and an opportunity to play for the conference championship lying in the balance, the Cougars were in need of a game-changing play. Tyler Maldinger would provide it. On the next play, Hunter Weed would make sure that Maldinger's outstanding effort would not be wasted. The Wildcats would put forth one final surge. With only seconds left and New London driving for the winning score, the defense was called on for one final stop. New London quarterback Seth Howard's attempt at the end zone was intercepted by Tyler Havio as the sophomore kept the Cougars' title hopes very much alive. The win would set the stage for a historic showdown with Conference Power Western Reserve. This game would determine the Firelands Conference champion. For those in attendance, Friday, October 27th would become a day that they would not forget. The epic affair between Crestview and Western Reserve, both teams tied atop the league standings, was held in the most dire of conditions. During a constant downpour and in ankle-deep mud, the Cougars and Rough Riders slugged it out to determine the Firelands Conference champion. The Crestview offense controlled the ball and clock, mounting a 17-play opening drive. The Cougars dominated the line of scrimmage, pushing back the bigger Rough Riders time and time again. Hunter Reed embodied the heart and soul of the Cougars as he carried the football an unbelievable 63 times for an amazing 265 yards behind the dominating blocks of Ryan Stewart, Isaac Bratton, Justin Cheeseman, and Kevin Wright. The Crestview defense, led by senior linebacker Andy Carpenter, turned out a performance for the ages as they held the Rough Riders to only 98 yards of total offense.
Your big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place.
With Western threatening near the end of regulation, the Cougar defense would once again answer the challenge. The Rough Riders had the ball 1st and 10 on the Crestview 15, but were stopped on 4 straight plays to force overtime. In the first overtime session, both Crestview and Western Reserve had their opportunities, but poor field conditions and aggressive physical defense kept both offenses out of the end zone.
So good looking, so insecure. And now you say you can't remember when the lines you drew began to blur. Yeah, when all of this is over, should I lose you in the smoke? I want you to know you were the one. And may my love travel with you everywhere. Baby, may my love travel with you always. Maggie's still trying to rope a tornado. Joe's in the back.
The Crestview defense continued their inspired play by not allowing Western Reserve to gain a yard in the first 3 plays of double overtime. On 4th and 10 from the 20-yard line, a controversial pass interference penalty gave the Rough Riders new life. The penalty would have broken the spirits of most teams, but not the Cougars. The defense responded again by not allowing a single yard on 4 straight plays.
In the smoke down the road, I want you to know you were the one. And may my love travel with you everywhere. Yeah, may my love travel with you always.
Hunter Reed would crash over the left side for 9 yards to set up one final play. And on the final play of the 2006 season, a group of men that nobody thought much of, a team that was picked to finish 5th in the conference, would make their dreams a reality. And for the second time in 3 years, the Crestview Cougars were Firelands Conference champions.
And when all of this is over, should I lose you in the smoke? I want you to know you were the one. And may my love travel with you everywhere. may my love travel with you always. Baby, may my love travel with you everywhere. Yeah, may my love travel with you always.
I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. 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 I got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
those sacred days you gave me. I'm thinking of the days I won't forget a single day. Believe me, I bless the light. I bless the light that shines on you. Believe me, and though you're gone, you're with me every single day. Believe me, days I remember all my life, days where you can't see wrong from right. You took my life, and then I knew that very soon you'd leave me. But it's alright, now I'm not frightened of this world. Believe me, I wish today could be tomorrow. The night is dark, it just brings sorrow. Let it wait. Thank you for the days, those endless days, those sacred days you gave me. I'm thinking of the days I won't forget a single day. Believe me, I bless the light. I bless the light that shines on you. Believe me, and though you're gone, you're with me every single day. Believe me, days I remember all my life, days where you can't see wrong from right. You took my life, and then I knew that very soon you'd leave me. But it's alright, now I'm not frightened of this world. Believe me, for the days, those endless days, those sacred days you gave me. I'm thinking of the days I won't forget a single day. Believe me, I bless the light. I bless the light that shines on you. Believe me, to see you cry. I believe we can make it through the winds of change. God is great indeed if you believe in the everlasting. Yeah, we gotta make some sense of the pieces that we found. Oh no, oh no. And if you just hold on, I won't let you fall. Storms and the winds of change. on this long